We'll call this meeting to order. Today is September 16, 2025, and it is a meeting of the Cape Cod Gateway Commission, and it's being held in the airport conference room. The meeting of the Cape Cod Gateway Commission is being recorded and broadcast on the town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. In accordance with the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20, I must inquire whether anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, to please make their presence known. Besides our local cable, there is no one else recording, so we can move on to roll call.
Chairman Flores?
Here.
Vice Chairman Gio is not present. Clerk Weil?
Here.
Commissioner Beerworth?
Here.
Commissioner Bailey?
Here.
Commissioner DeGeorge?
Here.
Commissioner Melo?
Here.
And Yarmouth Rep. Christine Greeley?
Here.
We have a quorum this afternoon.
Thank you. And if I could ask everyone to stand while I recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next on the agenda, item number 4 is minutes of the previous meetings. This is the meeting August 19th, 2025. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
I know there were some edits and some changes that were made. Anything else anybody else wants to bring up? Not seeing. Could we have a motion to approve those, please?
So moved.
Second. Okay, any other discussion? Not hearing any?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
note my abstention, I wasn't here on the 19th.
Right, I was going to announce the same thing. I will also be abstaining as I was not here myself. So, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and that is a vote with 2 abstentions, myself and Commissioner Bailey. Next on the agenda is public comments, and I don't see anyone here who is ready to make a public comment, so we can move right on to item number 7, which is a report from the Finance Subcommittee. The Finance Committee is comprised of Commissioner Weil, Bailey, and Gio, and Chairman of that committee is Commissioner Weil. So, the floor is yours.
Okay, sir. The Finance Subcommittee met on the 9th of September 2025 via Zoom. Commissioners Weil, Bailey, and Gio were present. We had a member of the public present, Sam Baxter, who's a potential new tenant. The minutes of the August 9th meeting were read and approved. I'm going to do some things that may sound a little bit confusing here, but we took a new business item out of order, which was FIN 0925-1, which was to review and discuss the hangar LLC purchase. That hangar is being purchased by Sam Baxter, and he came to introduce himself to the commission and discuss what he wants to do in the future. Once the sale is completed, he will be the owner. That is a place where general aviation aircraft are housed. I believe there are 6 bays there from my memory. One of them is from the Cape Cod Aero Club, from which I am a member. It's one of 30 members, but you should know that. We then went on to an old business item, which is FIN 0825-5, which was to review withdrawal of security coordinator, noise abatement, and executive assistant to the airport manager 2-step increase. That's combined with FIN 0925-5 to review and approve the executive assistant to the airport manager grade increase and sick leave. FIN 0925-6 to review and approve security coordinator noise abatement rate increase and sick leave, and FIN 0925-7 to review and approve Mary McDonald Administrator Financial Analysis bonus in the amount of $1,250. All of these items were tabled. They were tabled for several reasons, one of which we felt that it should be conducted in an executive session rather than in an open meeting. Second, we felt that there was a need to have input from HR on some of the issues as it related to the sick leave. So that these were two of the more substantial reasons for tabling them, because we felt that these things should be at the full commission level, and it has nothing to do with any judgment on the merit or appropriateness of any of that at all. It's procedural in nature, and we don't like to delay these kinds of things, but we thought more people should be involved than us. Moving on, we went on to new business FIN 0925-2 to review and approve discount fuel program new agreements. I won't go into details here because they're going to be discussed at this meeting. We went on to review and approve Airport Solutions Group ASG Amendment number 1 to the contract between the Cape Cod Gateway Airport and the consultant engineer for on-call engineering services completed for the terminal airport hard stand engineering in the amount of $577,200. We won't go into the details other than we approved it for discussion and potential approval here at this meeting. FIN 0925-4, review and approve Security Solutions Group ASG Amendment number 2 to the contract between the Cape Cod Gateway Airport and the consultant engineer for airport on-call engineering services for the terminal airport on hard stands rebidding services in the amount of $15,700. That will be discussed at this meeting. So we voted to approve, to move it to this meeting. We received updates which will be discussed at this meeting, and the meeting was adjourned at 9:24 a.m.
Thank you, Commissioner Weil. Next on the agenda is a report from the Infrastructure and Marketing Subcommittee. That is comprised of Commissioner DeGeorge, bear with Emilio, and Commissioner DeGeorge. Could you report out on that, please?
Yes, sir. Infrastructure and Marketing met on Tuesday, September 9th at 10:30 in the morning. Commissioners DeGeorge, Bearwith, and Maley were present. The meeting was held via Zoom. There was no unfinished business. On new business, INF 0925-1, review and discuss airport signage. Rather than go through it all, that's going to be discussed today at the full commission meeting, so we'll get a final decision on that. Second one was INF 09252, review and discuss shuttle bus beautification and advertising. And we have Everest Fuel that proposed to wrap the bus with their logo for advertising, but we put that on hold, and Mike is going to be looking at other things because we also want to look at other forms of advertising before we commit to wrapping the bus with Everest Fuel. The next one was INF 0925-3, review and approve Barnstable solar project license agreement estoppel. And this was a rooftop solar array to be installed on Griffin Avionics, and that is going to be moved to the full commission here tonight. Next one was INF 0925-4, review and approve noise abatement roundtable formation. Again, the subcommittee thought it was a great idea, and that is being moved today to the full commission. Next one is INF 0925-5, review and approve trees versus fence between Barnstable Road and Sit Ave. And there is a section of fence down on Sit Ave that has been down, and there's been thought of putting in trees instead of that to beautify that area, because nobody wants to look at a rusted old fence, and that's being moved to the full commission today. The last item was INF 0925-06, review and discuss artwork by Michelle Kennedy for the terminal. We were asked to take a look at the possibility of replacing the Southern Airways logo with artwork from Michelle Kennedy, but the subcommittee thought that it would be best off to leave that area as professional as it is, and just limit what we're going to put in that area. So that was not approved by the commission and will not be heard today. And at that point, the meeting was adjourned at 11:27.
Thank you, Commissioner George. Excellent subcommittee reports, and thank you for all the hard work that the committee members do. Next on the agenda, public session, old business. There isn't any to report out on, so we'll move right into old business. The first item is COM 0925-1. This is to review and approve a discount fuel program, new agreements with the current fuel purchases. There is a motion to be made. If you would make that motion, Commissioner Wall.
Sure. The motion is to approve new discount fuel program agreements with the current fuel purchasers, AEG, Everest Fuel, and NetGens. The sponsor is the Finance Subcommittee, and it may be acted upon at this meeting.
Okay, motion's been made. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Okay, now discussion and report.
Good afternoon, all.
Nelson?
The discount fuel program agreements with AEG, Everest Fuel, and NetJets are up for renewal. The discount program appears to have been a large factor in the airport's increase in fuel sales over the last few years, and that's in their minimum annual guaranteed that are in these programs. The recommendation for renewing the agreement is based on the success in the terms of a win-win for the airport and the customer, and I recommend renewal for all of the participants if they so want to be in it. Any questions?
Any
Pretty
questions from any
straightforward.
members of the commission? Not hearing any. We have a motion with a second. All those in favor of approving COM 0925-1 as reviewed and discussed, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is a vote. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is COM 0925-2. This is to review and approve Airport Solutions Group, acronym ASG, Amendment Number 2 to the contract between the Cape Cod Gateway Airport and the consultant, i.e. the engineer, for airport on-call engineering services for the completed terminal apron hard stands engineering, and the cost of that was in the amount of $577,200. Commissioner Bailey, if you would make a motion so that we can move this forward.
COM 0925-2, motion to approve amendment number 2 to the contract between the Cape Cod Gateway Airport and consultant engineer for airport on-call engineering services for completed terminal apron hard stands engineering and bidding services in the amount of $577,200. Sponsors the Finance Committee, may be acted upon.
And then the second, please.
Second.
Okay, we've made the motion, it's been seconded. Before we get into a discussion or a vote, Manager Nelson, would you like to comment on this item?
Yes, thank you. Yes, Airport Solutions Group, or ASG, provided all the engineering and bid services for the original and revised hard stand project. Most of the services were completed during or prior to the fiscal year 25. And I did overhear a question earlier about if that's included in the $1,716,000 of the project, and it is included in that. cost. Yes, it's not above and beyond, so we're good with that. So it's, again, pretty straightforward. That's, any questions or comments?
So whether or not we move forward with the hard stand project, because that's all premised on potential contract-related language issues down the road, we still have to pay for this because these were engineering drawings and details that were done beforehand in order to move the project to where it is now.
Yes, so that the project could be bid appropriately with all the specifications.
So we are in debt either way for the
Yes.
577 or 200. Okay, any other questions or issues from anyone? Margaret, Commissioner?
So if it's part of that 1.6 or 1.7, whatever that ends up being, do we need, since we've already approved that, to my recollection, do we need to approve this too?
This is a separate bill, so I would say yes.
Yeah, that's my understanding,
Yep.
and even just for purchase order and payment terms,
Right.
it should have the base
And
contract.
that approval was actually premised on in the event that the government actually gives us that amount of money. But either way, we still owe this.
Yes,
This would have to come out of our reserves. Correct.
yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, not hearing any, we'll take a vote on this. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that is a vote. Next item is COM 0925-3. It's to review and approve Airport Solutions Group, again, acronym ASG, amendment number 3 to the contract between the Cape Cod Gateway Airport and the consultant, i.e. the engineer, for airport on-call engineering services for terminal apron hard stands rebidding services in the amount of $15,700. Commissioner DeGeorge, would you make that motion, please?
Sure. Motion to approve amendment number 3 to the contract between Cape Cod Gateway Airport and consultant on airport on-call engineering services for terminal apron hard stand rebidding services in the amount of $15,700. Sponsored by the Finance Committee, may be acted upon.
Second, please.
Second.
Okay, Manager Nelson, would you like to comment on this, please?
Yes, ASG, just to provide and complete engineering and bidding services for the current hard stand project. And again, this cost is covered in the 1.7 approximate for the project cost. Any questions on this one? Yes.
Has it already been done, or is this?
Some of it. So it's to, they did services so that procurement would have the appropriate information.
Okay, any other questions? We'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that is a vote. Okay, next item on the agenda is COM 0925-4. This is to review and approve Cape Cod Gateway Airport logo design for future placement onto the air traffic control tower. Commissioner Bearwick, would you make that motion, please?
Oh, yes. Okay. Motion to approve the design and appearance of the Cape Cod Gateway Airport logo on the air traffic control tower to move forward with obtaining sign sizing, sign characteristics, and for permit vetting and pricing. Sponsor is the Infrastructure Subcommittee and may be acted upon.
The motion has been made. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Now for discussion, Manager Nelson.
Thank you again. This one design option was for a digital board, but this is not permitted by the town of Barnstable, partially due to distraction and just consistency in the town. So that option was taken away. The next option we were considering was the logo being placed on the tower. And this, as you can see, this would be approximately 11-foot round. It's not to scale. I just went out and measured a little while ago. The reason it's on this side of the building, though, is no windows, and there's also a utility chase on that wall. So it would be a lot easier to install and also maintain.
Where is that in the building?
That would be, as you're looking at the Ocean State Job Lot Starbucks area in that plaza across from Route 28.
So this is facing 28.
Yes.
So as you're coming around the rotary and you look to your left, you're looking at it straight up.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's one, that would be, as you see there, no lighting or anything like that. And the reason we wanted to start with the logo was suggested, but also the town of Barnstable requires a vendor to submit specifications for approval of this type of application, which is the reason to have logo design approval first before moving any further. If the commission votes to move forward with the airport logo on the tower face, various options would be considered regarding appropriate size to ensure readability and minimum distraction for vehicular traffic, type of lighting, if any, backlighting, which you can see here, that sample sign, the ASN wedding, that would provide kind of a halo effect, which provides better sign visibility at night with a halo effect with minimum distraction to vehicular traffic. With backlighting, the sign size would be restricted to the 8-foot round per information from the vendor. If the logo is approved, the various options and pricing would be presented to the commission after completing permit review, which is required for each style of sign and lighting. So
Why are we limited to 8 feet?
that's just the way they're designed and constructed. Maybe another vendor might have larger.
I would hope so.
It's true, so the restriction to the 8 feet for this one is there's also lighting that is through those, on the sample side, through those lettering.
So
And
those letters are cut out and light comes through it to
Yes.
give the effect?
So that had something to do with the restriction, was the way that this sign was constructed.
So if we didn't illuminate it, it could be 11 feet, but if we illuminate it, it's restricted to 8 feet.
The 11-foot, they could do just the halo. They could do that.
But would it be bright enough to see Cape Cod Gateway Airport? I mean, that's something we'll have to ask the vendors.
That's tough. You have a light in front of the tower where the sign would go, and that would possibly have to be adjusted so that there's no light going up the tower at all, because that would, I looked at it the other night, and it's a real tough view of the tower. It's kind of very dark on that side of the tower without any type of backlighting or halo lighting.
Yeah, well, it's definitely going to need light,
Yes.
absolutely. All I'm suggesting is that perhaps besides Plymouth Sign Company, there are other companies
Oh,
that
yes.
have other different kinds of alternatives. And when we put this out for an RFP or a bid, we'll look at all of this, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the question is size so that you can see it.
Yes.
Because the one that's, you know, I've said this before, the one on Mary Dunn Way, I think is a disaster in terms of what you can see, what you can't see, even the whole look and feel of it.
Yeah.
And even though we voted it, I really wasn't sure about that until after it was actually built, that it was not a good vote.
Until you couldn't see it.
Until I couldn't see it. So I want to be sure that, you know, this is a one-shot deal, that we get this right.
Yes.
I want to be able, you know, when you're standing at the rotary and going around, to be able to say Cape Cod Gateway Airport, I want it lit up in the evening.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're clear on that. And bigger is better in this. Okay.
All right, and that's it. Any more questions, comments, discussion?
Any other questions, issues? Okay, then we are, have the review, and are we actually approving this?
It would just be the
Logo design?
placement of the logo onto the airport
So this vote is just that we're placing it on the tower,
tower, yes.
and that would be facing the south side.
Route 28 south side, yes.
Okay. So that we're clear on the location.
Also, maybe we could just get it, like you said, bigger is better. So if we're gonna ask for quotes, we kind of need some idea of what we're asking for, so they're all consistent.
Yeah, well, we want it, bigger is better, we want it lit, so I mean, I'm gonna leave it up to
Okay.
what you come back to us with relative
Yeah.
to
Okay.
the sign maker, he or she or whomever,
Yes,
would have to come
Okay.
back with some proposals and some pictures.
yes.
And then, I'm not even sure how wide that wall is on that tower, do you see?
And part of the size might be restricted by the town of Barnstable. This is part of the reason, didn't want to go with a bunch of different options like we would with the signs to replace the Barnstable Municipal Airport signs. This way, we're taking one design and saying to the town, this is what we'd like. Can it be this big, 14 feet, whatever that may look like.
Is that a building department approval?
I was talking to somebody in the building department
So
that
that's
deals
Brian
with
Flo-
signs specifically, yes.
And we do need that.
Yes.
Chairman Flores?
Yes, sir.
I'm just curious, to be clear, this is not going to be facing the Rotary. It's on the side of it, is that correct?
Yes.
And we
The-
can't have it facing the Rotary.
Oh, wait,
We
I'm
can,
confused. I
we
thought-
will have a size restriction because of the windows. We won't be able to cover windows.
That's the only blank size.
I have to go look at that. I'm trying to envision. So this actually is looking,
If you come
Is
from
it-
Yarmouth,
if you're coming up 28 from Yarmouth, you're looking at it.
Toward the
Yes.
Rotary.
yes.
Oh, I thought it was,
You can see it
right
from
in the
TJ
middle.
Maxx Plaza very well. It's kind of angled that direction.
yeah, okay. No, I'm thinking, I want, personally, I'll only speak for myself, but I'm thinking of it on the,
Front
as you
side.
come around the Rotary, it faces the Rotary,
Okay, the.
straight on.
Yes.
'Cause that's what most people are looking at when they see that tower, not coming up from Yarmouth.
Okay.
Do we know the height between the windows on the front side?
The windows themselves are 48 inches, so we might be able to get up to an 11 or 12-foot sign
Well,
around
why don't you
here.
do the homework, come back to us with some recommendations and suggestions, but I'm hearing, at least I'm sensing that we want it facing the Rotary.
The challenge is going to be the electrical for the sign, if it's a lit sign, because as I said, on that wall, when I was a manager in the tower, there was a chase literally in that office on that wall that goes from the ground floor all the way up to the tower cab. On the other side, there is no such chase, and they'll have to bring electrical through the ceilings and walls
That's okay.
there, so they're definitely gonna
But
increase
this is
the
something we want
cost.
to live with
Yeah.
forever.
Yes.
This is a one-shot deal, so we want to do this right.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
So if we have to bring in electricity, we bring in electricity.
yes.
This goes,
So if we do it facing the Rotary, does that negate the need for the Rotary sign?
that's a
They're
different
two
kind of sign.
different,
That's always,
yeah.
that's a wooden sign.
Well, it's not gonna be wooden at the end of the day.
I don't know.
Okay, never.
I don't know what I don't know.
Never mind.
I'll wait till the next,
Yeah, wait,
That's a future meeting.
that's a future meeting.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Let's stay with this
Don't
one.
tell me.
Let's just focus on the tower. So Mike, I guess you're hearing that we want it to face the Rotary so
Yes.
that it has as much visual impact that it possibly can have.
Yep.
We want it as big as it can be, and we want it as bright as it can be. Are we clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Very.
All right.
Gonna be the John Forrest sign.
yeah, exactly.
I've been asking for this for 5 years. Those of you that have been on.
John Forrest Memorial.
There
But I
is
want
a-
it done tastefully and professionally, and, when
Yes.
people say, geez, that's really nice.
Yeah.
It's a good looking sign.
And there are no restrictions
I don't
on
want-
decorating.
Okay.
I'm not
As
asking
long as it's
for,
temporary.
I'm not asking for time,
Thanksgiving,
I'm not asking for time or temperature, on it.
Easter
It's
bunny
okay.
hanging out.
All right, COM, COM 0925 -4, motions are made, second discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I think we should table that because we have so many options open that we haven't really specified anything. We're just looking for information to come
Right.
back to us.
Absolutely.
I think what we're approving is the logo sign. I think that's all we're doing.
Placement.
Is that, do we want to do that?
Logo and placement,
Yeah,
that's what
but we're not approving the sign.
We're not approving the sign, we don't know what the cost is gonna be.
Okay, yeah, we're proving that we'll do the logo, and we want it on the side of the wall facing the Rotary, and we want it as big and as bright lit up as it possibly can be.
Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, during the subcommittee meeting, we did take a look at we did talk about the other signage that is needed, but felt that the tower was more important, so we put that as a priority
Thank you.
and tabled the other two for later on. given the aspect of what it's gonna cost us, we have
Okay.
no idea, and so we wanted to make sure that the tower was taken care of
Perfect.
first.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, we'll call this vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that is a vote. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is COM 0925-5. This is to review and approve 630 Barnstable Solar Project and license agreement estoppel. Commissioner Mello, would you make that motion, please?
Sure. COM 0925-5, motion to approve a solar project on the rooftop of a building owned by Griffin Realty Trust, who leases from Cape Cod Gateway Airport, and approve a license agreement estoppel to fulfill Next Grid Inc. financing requirements. Sponsor infrastructure. Subcommittee may be acted upon.
And a second, please?
Second?
Okay, motions are made with a second. I'll ask Manager Nelson to report out on this, please.
And the purpose for this is a solar project on the rooftop of the building owned by Griffin Realty Trust, who leases from Cape Cod Gateway Airport the land. A solar glare analysis was completed on November 10th, 2020, and a FAA letter of determination was issued on May 15th, 2025, and there is no objection. Determination expires November 15th, 2026. A building permit was issued on February 26, 2025, and expires February 26, 2026. The roof structure has been certified to be suitable for the specified solar array by a letter dated August 14th, 2020 from the design consulting firm ARC Design and Consulting LLC. The roof will be replaced in conjunction with the solar installation. This agreement is between Cape Cod Gateway Airport and NextGrid Rapania LLC, joined by Griffin Realty Trust and Griffin Avionics, Inc. The estoppel certificate verifies the lease is in good standing, which it is. And any questions, comment, discussion?
What is the benefit to the airport?
The airport-
Do we get credits for this through Griffin, or is this?
Griffin gets the credits.
Griffin gets the credits?
Yes.
Okay. So
So
we don't make anything out of this?
So we don't make anything out of it. We get improvements to the building, the new roof, and also there's a condition in their lease that expires, I believe, all the items are due in 2027. The repairs and renovations have to be made to the building for improvements. So there's a better building out of it, and they will be more green, or helping the Cape to be more green. We don't get financial benefit from it.
So they'll get the 30% tax deduction, that's good through the end of 2025?
I don't know what they
It
get
is.
out of it. Yeah,
Yeah, there is actually, under the big beautiful bill that was passed a while back, I mean, all of those rules and regs changed. A solar project now has to be up and operated and running prior to December 31st, 2025 in order to get that 30%.
That's probably why they
discount,
want to
which
rush.
is, I'm not sure, I'm sure
Yeah.
they're aware of it, but
Yeah,
that's a change in the law. And then
okay,
after this December 31st, that doesn't exist anymore.
yes. So, and I don't know, this is similar to Cape Air, and I don't know if we get benefit from that, do
No,
Okay.
they do.
you know? Yeah. So
Yeah,
there
we
is-
get ours for what's on that property out in the field.
Yes.
That's ours.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, any other questions from anyone on the commission? Okay, motion was made with second, discussion completed. We'll call this vote for COM 0925-5 to approve the solar project as already read. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that is a vote. Let's move on to COM 0925-6. This is to review and approve a noise abatement roundtable formation. Commissioner Weil, would you make that motion, please?
Yes, the motion is to approve the formation of a roundtable to address community concerns relating to airport operations in the vicinity of Cape Cod Gateway Airport. The sponsor is the Infrastructure Subcommittee, and it may be acted upon at this meeting.
Okay, motion's been made. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Okay, discussion, Manager Nelson?
Yes, and Sue was kind enough to give you guys a handout on roundtable engagement guidance. And my notes really are a summary of those points. The roundtable aims to address concerns relating to airport operations in the vicinity of Cape Cod Gateway Airport, provides a means of equitable community and stakeholder engagement to discuss concerns in open forum. The Federal Aviation would assist and advise by offering technical and subject matter expertise. A roundtable can collaborate, discuss challenges, and provide consensus recommendation to the FAA. The airport would perform outreach to the communities in the vicinity of the airport to ensure that communities that would like to participate can. And this would be a step towards the MVP strategic plan objectives of 2.3, develop new methods to communicate and solicit community feedback. 2.4, establish community liaisons for interest groups. And 5.1, educate the pilot community and future air service stakeholders on recommended noise abatement procedures. Comments, questions, discussion?
I have a few questions. First, if we vote to approve this roundtable, obviously it's going to be a group of folks. How big, how many, where are they from? What is the cost to the commission relative to our budget? And will this need to bring in experts that we'll have to pay for? Those kinds of related issues. Anytime you have a roundtable,
Yes.
that all comes into play.
Yes, so the outreach, I talked to the town communications department last week, and they suggested that we reach out to the participants in the master plan, but also look at the MVP strategic contact list to reach out to them also. So our community outreach would be costing us in advertising for sure, to make sure that we reach everybody possible. We would have to provide facilities for the outreach. The town of Barnstable has said that we can use the town council briefing room for that purpose, or the conference room, depending on the size of the roundtable. Experts would be the individual at the formation would be by the town. Like, I've been talking to the town of Yarmouth town manager, and they would have a consultant that they would pay for. If we went further into actual development of instrument approaches or instrument departure procedures, that would have to be something we come back for approval. This is more for creating a forum to openly discuss all of the concerns of the areas around the airport, so that we don't just simply develop procedures in a vacuum and all of a sudden we might be moving noise to a community that is not aware of the noise. And so there's so many issues now surrounding the airport, whether it's noise, pollution, hours of operation. They can weigh in on those issues. So right now, the cost hasn't been determined. That it would be, at this time, advertising is the major cost.
Comments from anyone? Commissioner
Yes,
DeGiorgio?
Mike, how often would the roundtable meet?
It all depends on, right now, I would say at least quarterly. Let's put it that way. That's the projection right now. If there were need for other meetings, that would have to be decided at those quarterly meetings, but then brought to the commission.
No,
Mr. Chairman, if I remember correctly, this was a discussion item in the updates at the Finance Subcommittee. And I believe that Betty Lutke made it a point of speaking out in favor of the roundtable, as it was encompassing all communities, and she seemed favorably impressed as a means of communication on this issue that is of interest to everybody. So I'm just bringing that forward, that our liaison, that from my memory, was expressing support for this idea.
Yes, she, when I talked about it at the, that meeting, the analogy I used was a pie, and at times, in my experience, only small slivers of the pie tend to get noticed and have a voice. And Councilor Lutke made the comment that she's in favor of it because it's a 360-degree approach to the issue, encompassing or being inclusive of the entire radius of the airport, not just segments. Thank you.
Can I have a point of clarification?
Yes, please.
So at this point, what would be the role of the Yarmouth consultant in terms of this? Because it sounded as if some of what you're doing is more of a public participation thing, but is there going to be some very formalized discussions that are more technical about approaches, recommendations, things like that? And what will be the role then of, you know, again, your tower people, you know, consultant, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it would start with discussions on the community concerns. And for example, with the concern of Mr. Price, who's the consultant for Yarmouth, he proposed a standard instrument departure or SID off of runway 15. And that would be brought to the open discussion, and people would get the opportunity to speak to it if they chose to participate in the meetings, so that if they were potentially impacted, that other options could possibly be explored with those subject matter experts and the FAA as a consultant advising on process and procedure.
So you would meet with Ron Price ahead of time to talk about some of these concerns, or what, how would that work?
That's, I'd have to discuss that offline. Right now, I'm trying to, he's given me quite a few proposals, and I want to make sure that we have full community participation in that. And and the town of Yarmouth is more than welcome to put those proposals up for review for a entire community input. If other communities did not want to participate or chose not to participate, then it would be one-on-one discussions. But at this time, unless I see something else that would sway me to say we should just have one-on-one discussions with one community, I don't think it's fair to the other communities.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna, a couple of issues. First, the whole issue of creating a noise abatement roundtable is a volatile issue, if you will, and it has been for years within the community, coming more to the forefront to the point that there was a feeling that some of our staff people were being harassed in the process. So I want to be sure that in the process of developing this roundtable, that we have a framework, if you will, to be as open as we possibly can, but at the same time, to be as organized and as structured as we possibly can be. And I'm not getting that feeling that we're there. I'm getting a feeling that we're sort of just saying, yes, let's have a roundtable, but we don't really know what we're voting on to bring in.
Yeah,
That's a concern of mine.
Yeah, no, this is the process of introducing it, and I would have to go back to the FAA and see what that looks like with them, and also with the staff and anyone else concerned, whether it's with the commission or even a work group developed from the commission.
Other issues, concerns?
Mike, do you envision FAA and Mass DOT Aeronautics to be involved at every one of these roundtable sessions?
Definitely the FAA, yes.
So you will have, they will be your support staff in reviewing all of the items that get proposed to us, is that correct?
Well, yes, they would be there for counsel and advice, and also they have the experience in these types of community engagement items, so that their expertise would be vital to having a successful roundtable.
So do you envision 2 or 3 people sitting at, let's say, that side of the table? You, the FAA, and somebody else, or I'm just trying to get an idea of framework, as John was saying, with the roundtable, who is the Yarmouth people, the Yarmouth residents, who are they presenting to?
They're presenting to the
Okay.
airport representatives, myself, I'm not gonna subject the staff to something like that. And in the forums I've been involved in the past, it is like the airport manager, the FAA, and towns, consultants, things like that, that are at the front, and the audience, communities. If we were at the town Barnstable, town councilors, meeting hall, then yes, we would be sitting up front and everybody else in the audience.
So what is the primary, what is the mission, if you will, of this advisory group, and what's the objective from your perspective?
To address the concerns of the communities involved, and if
Is
possible.
it strictly noise, or is it every issue?
It can flow into any of the concerns the communities have. Any airport operations.
So environmentally, PFAS-related issues, sound-related issues, landing and takeoff-related issues, noise and general-related issues, is that what we're talking here?
Yeah, the only one that I would say, it's, even though I respect highly, it's a community concern, the PFAS is not a ongoing current airport operation. That's something that happened, the airport has addressed it and continues to address it, but that would not be part of the roundtable. That's already being addressed in many forums right now, and it is mandatory to address with the Mass DOT on a regular basis, and also in public meetings twice a year.
But there was a lot of misinformation and misleading that was announced at a most recent town hall meeting relative to that whole project. And that's a concern of mine. I want to be sure that whatever roundtable we have, that it's factual data that we're
Yes.
dealing with, and we're not dealing with anonymity from people. And that's one of the issues I have with a lot of the issues of concern that we get. Everybody's anonymous. And I want to put a face with a name so that we can address it accordingly.
Oh, yeah, and that's why I recommend some type of, it might not be a roundtable, but some type of community outreach, just like the strategic plan has, to develop methods to communicate to the community and have a back and forth, open forum, so that we are listening to non-anonymous feedback, and we're seeing faces, we're putting names to faces in an open forum.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that, one, we should be focused as to what the roundtable is on, and not open-ended, but it's a noise roundtable would be one thing. And the second thing would be to have a very experienced moderator control the meeting, that make sure that everybody gets a chance to speak, but people aren't allowed to speak outside of the parameters of what is accepted at the meeting. I think those would be two requirements for anything that we do, so that it doesn't become open-ended, because they can, they can become unproductive. And
Yes.
I, for one, want to hear from everybody in the community. And, part of what Betty Ludke basically fed back to us, as I heard, is wants to hear from everybody. That was the voice that I heard, that it's important to hear from everybody. So,
Yes.
I also feel that if we're going to have the FAA representatives here, it is important that we only focus on noise, because they're not engaged in PFAS discussions or et cetera. So it's important to limit it, I think.
Yeah.
But that's,
Yeah, I think that it's important that this discussion and this understanding of what the issues are for people is really looked at. But I think the next step to it is the actual addressing of it. And I think that that's one thing that, from what I've understood from Rob Wittnauer and Ron Price, they really want to see that there is some real absolute procedural kinds of things, put into place based on what you're finding. And in looking at, because Ron's been an airport consultant, I guess, for many, many years, that there are definitely, flight tracks and some things that can be used as addressing the issues. So I think it's more than, personally, I think it's more than just the issue of, hearing the complaints, but it's what is the action plan, and I think that that's where Bob Whitnauer and the town of Yarmouth are committing themselves to, with the payment of Ron Price's consulting fees and that, to actually developing a plan that will then go forward and be looked at, in the town of Yarmouth and shown. So I think it's more than just getting the community together for discussion. I think it's some kind of an action plan that is what they are sort of, I think Bob and Ron are kind of looking at.
Yeah,
Well, that's one of my issues of concern relative to this motion, because basically, the way the motion is written, it's to address community concerns, which can be anything.
Right.
Right.
And basically relating to airport operations, which can be anything. So this is a wide open motion. I would be more comfortable, I don't feel there's any plan behind this, that we're just saying, yeah, we're gonna have a community roundtable engagement and let's make something up after the fact. I would rather be voting on something that's more specific in terms of what it is we're going to be doing.
Yep.
I just think this is too wide open.
We do, at the subject matter, we say noise abatement, it makes it the subject. So is there a way to move the noise abatement into the motion so that we're talking about a roundtable for noise abatement discussion, rather than anything that the community is concerned about?
Need a motion to amend the motion.
Yeah, we'd have to make a motion to amend it, but before we do that, we still don't have any, this is very skeletal in terms of
Yes.
where we are. I guess I'm looking for more substance in terms of what actually are we going to come up with.
Well, it's kind of like the sign issue. We can just move this forward to review at a later date when it's more precise. It's not very narrow.
Mr. Chairman, I suggest tabling this, and let's let Mike do some more work and give us a better structure, better setup, so that we have a better understanding before we vote on anything.
Would you like to amend the motion?
I guess.
Yes.
I would like to table the motion of COM 0925-6, review and approve the noise abatement, and table that for further discussion after more information has been given to us.
Seconded.
Okay, any other further discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That's a vote. And I want to be clear for anybody watching, is that, as a commission, we want to be as open as we possibly can, but at the same time, this is just too wide open. It needs to be structured in such a way that at the end, there can be actual factual results that we can charge somebody to come up with, as opposed to, this is more of just an opinion kind of gripe session, if you will, kind of resolution, which is not something we need. We've had enough of those in the past. And,
No, it wouldn't have been that.
we just want to be sure that when we're ready to vote something like this, that that is much more specificity.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, moving on to COM 0925-7. This is to review and approve trees versus a fence between Barnstable Road and Sitt Avenue in the amount not to exceed $11,000. Commissioner Bailey, would you make that motion, please?
Asking me?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
COM 0925-7, motion to approve the planting of trees instead of reinstalling a fence between Barnstable Road and Sitt Ave in the amount not to exceed $11,000. Sponsored infrastructure subcommittee may be acted upon.
And is there a second, please?
Second.
Okay, Manager Nelson, discussion.
Yes, an airport fence came down along the airport property and the property on Sitt Ave boundary. This is a proposal to plant trees instead of installing another fence for aesthetics along an approximate stretch of 150 feet. The proposal is for 3 to 4 foot evergreen trees that would mature to a height of 6 to 8 feet to provide a natural extension to the existing landscape and provide a natural barrier. So right here, the fence ended here and went along this area. And there's a natural line of trees that go from that area to the left. And also, as you can see along this area, the owner of the property on Sid Ave put this retaining wall right over here. So, due to the logistics of the area, it doesn't appear a fence is necessary, and even if a fence is installed, it would be very easy for somebody to just walk around. The fence was more of a debris control before that retaining wall went in, and then it was not a trespass control. The fence quote we've received is $6,950 for a 6-foot fence with privacy slats. The Big Wave, Craig's Inc., the proprietor over there of the business that installed the new concrete retaining wall in the picture along the boundary, is offered to assist in planting, reluming, seeding, watering, and maintaining the area until maintenance is no longer needed. Big Wave Craig's Inc. has installed a water supply at the site for ease of watering. It's right at the end. In fact, it's right over in this area here, so it's about halfway between where the new plantings would go and not.
Is this on the right-hand side of Mary Dunn Way?
No, this is
What are we
on
talking?
this is towards Airport Road, Barnstable Road, as you're passing Atlantic Aviation, going towards Independence.
Okay.
So if you left here, take a right turn out.
If you go
Oh, yeah,
over there
okay.
and you turn right,
Sit
close
down,
to the
okay,
Home
yeah.
Depot area.
Okay.
And it's across from, in fact, that lot here, if you go to the other side of it, it's the where HMI is parking, the High Line overflow over there, and then the airport fence is over there by runway 15.
So there's no security related issues that we have to worry
No.
about?
It was more FOD control in the past than anything else. And the quote for the trees right now is approximately about the same price, just under $7,000, but it doesn't include incidentals like loom, seed, fertilizer, things like that. And questions, comments?
Has this gone out to bid, or did we get 3 bids on it?
No,
or
we've just gotten some prices
just some
from
prices?
nurseries.
So, if I can just add.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Excellent.
So I called a couple of nurseries for pricing, and this time of year, they are trying to move some of their stock, so they're having sales.
I understand, it's having a huge sale.
They're having their annual sales. So I got 2 quotes, and the third company said they couldn't provide the size trees that we wanted. The one quote came back at a little under 3,000 for the trees, which was very good. So the other quote was a little higher, but so this is something perhaps now is a good time to plant, as opposed to in the spring when I'm sure the price will be probably double.
Well, fall's always a great time to plant.
Yeah.
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 And how big are the trees that were planted?
They're 3.5, 4 feet, and then they did have some that were like 4.5, 5 feet, but they
Little
grow.
guys.
They'll grow quite tall. Yeah, they're emerald arborvitaes.
Oh, they're arborvitaes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, they grow tall and wide. Okay, any other questions, issues of concern? Okay, Commissioner?
I have to recuse myself on this item.
Yes.
It may be mine.
Okay. Make a note of that. Commissioner Mayhew is recusing herself on item COM 0925-7. Motion's been made with a second, discussion's been had. We'll call this motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that is a vote. Okay, next on the agenda is a report of the Yarmouth representative, Chris Greeley. You have some words of wisdom you'd like to share?
Sure. I don't know how wise they are, but I'm never at a loss for words. I have obviously been talking with Bob Rittenauer, and he has been communicating with Mike Nelson. He's very pleased about that. and also, you know, raises a lot of, as much as I addressed earlier in the conversation. And I think some of the points that, you know, Rudy's looking at is there are a lot of noise complaints coming from all quadrants at this point, which is very, very interesting. And so, obviously, the idea of an action plan, not just a conversation, that's gonna be, you know, talk us is nowhere, because I think that's the, you know, dissatisfaction for a lot of people for a long time, is they've been mentioning, talking and saying, hey, let's talk about this, and nothing ever coming out of it that's really led to anything substantially different. I also have to tell you, I had the experience again the other night, a Saturday night at 8:30, having a Cape airplane fly up Glenwood Street, turn left over my house, much as we had denied the prior one a year and a half ago or whatever, that with the vector that showed them coming in over Great Island. But I actually had somebody track it for me and everything and figure out who the plane was, so I was kind of laughing over that. The other thing is, I have been approached, because of being the Yarmouth representative, that there is a neighborhood association, say, and one of them is specifically Highness Park, obviously, who would like, to some degree, be able to identify a person who was sort of a noise coordinator, so that they basically are helping, you know, with Christina, when they're sending in the noise complaints and that. So this person would be more designated to sort of be specific, to give some of the things and not have it be 23 phone calls, but it could be 23 things that have been lodged with them. And I don't know how that would sit with the commission. It obviously would have to also go, probably it'd be discussed in Yarmouth too, by Bob Whitnow and that. But that was one of the things that did come up. So that's what's going on. And I did have a very nice meeting with Mike Nelson one day. He sat with me and had actually listened to that. And amongst the things I had shown him, something from, I think, 1997, it was a flyer from the neighborhood in which it was inviting people to come to a meeting on the beach, bring their chair, because officials from the FAA, from the airport and all, were going to be there to talk about the issues of the noise. So this tells you how long this has been going on and why there seems to be so much dissatisfaction with a lot of people at this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, we'll take all of that under advisement
Thank you.
with Manager Nelson. Next, our updates. Manager Nelson.
Okay, there's going to be an event, the 2025 Massachusetts Airport Manager Association Annual Conference is being held in Hyannis this year, Sunday, October 19th through Tuesday, October 21st. More information will be transmitted to the Commission later this week. Projects, the hard stand. The Town Council voted in favor of the loan and appropriation order in the amount of $1,716,000. The town anticipates rescinding the borrowing authorization under this agenda item if the new grant assurance are acceptable. If the grant offer language isn't acceptable, the airport will either borrow money to complete the project or request to use airport reserves. We have not received the FAA or Mass DOT grant offer letters yet. Not sure why that is. So hopefully they'll be in any day. The airport will use approximately $1,463,594 of reserves based on bids if unable to secure a Federal Aviation Administration grant. And the airport does receive Mass DOT grant funding. The low bidder was disqualified due to several discrepancies in the bid submission. Next lowest bidder was Lawrence Lynch at $46,720. The lowest bidder who was disqualified was J.J. Cardosi Incorporated, $990,696. Any questions on any of those updates yet?
I had one.
Yes.
Just a comment on the MAMA conference. Several years ago, I know John and I both attended the conference in Plymouth, and they had a really spectacular program on commissioners, airport commissioners, and their rights and obligations. If they're doing something like that again, I would strongly urge us to all attend if we can.
Okay.
They have that scheduled for Sunday.
Yeah, really? Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great.
I went in Woonsocket, the last one I went to. I'm so excited.
Yeah, they do a complete review of chapter 190 and a few other related kinds of rules and regs that apply to commissioners and the kinds of things that airports can and cannot do, including noise abatement issues and a lot of other kinds of technical related projects and programs. And so it's well worth going. I would go again, but I'll be out of town on business, so, and it's in Diana, so where is it? Where is it in Diana?
I think it's Margaritaville.
It is
Was
at
it
Margaritaville.
Margaritaville?
Yeah.
Can I have a question? Would I be allowed to attend any of the sessions?
It's for commissioners.
I don't know.
I have no objection. If you want to go, go.
But you know, it's not free.
It's not free now.
No, it's not.
No, so.
Okay, so we'll figure it out.
Okay, I'm just curious on the hard stands. This, right now, is sort of tabled, if I'm hearing this correctly. We're not moving forward with anything until we find out if in fact the feds are going to send a contract to us and there's a language related issue, correct?
So the process right now is, in respect to budgetary and finances, those issues, the goal would be to get the grant funding. So it does not look like we're going to get the language necessary if, to obtain the grant funding. So the process of the appropriation, we would have to go back to town council to rescind the request to use grant funding and
Take
to
it out of our
use
reserves.
reserves. Yes.
And our reserves are at what level now approximately?
Approximately, the finance director stated, or advised me, they should be in excess of $15 million once they're certified.
15, 1.5.
15 million, $15 million.
And this would be about $1.5 million?
And this would be approximately 1.5 million, yes.
Okay, so in the event that we move forward with this, time-wise, this will be in preparation for next summer's JetBlue and American. Would there be enough, we would have to start this project probably in what, March, April?
The goal would be to start excavation in March, very beginning of March. And because hopefully the weather's broken by then and we're getting reasonable weather, and they can do the excavation and be prepared to pour concrete, hopefully no later than the first, second week of April. The concrete needs 28 days to be
Yeah.
minimum usable strength, and that would put us in the late May timeframe. And last year, airlines started June 19th and June 26th respectively, so this would give us enough time. Yeah.
Okay.
And also, if something changed, whether it was temporary restraining orders or injunctions out there with the language between now and March, if the language were to change, my understanding is that, and it was acceptable to the commission, as long as we haven't started the construction, we might be able to apply and receive the
The
funds.
funding.
Yes.
Okay, so when will we know, is there a timeline for that?
Now, if we started construction this fall, all bets would be off and the timeline would be broken. So we really would need to have an assurance that the language was not going to be adverse to us no later than very early calendar year 2026.
Okay. And if we were not to do the hard stands for the upcoming season, what would be the impact?
The impact would be we'd still be in the position of being concerned of degradation of our asphalt out there and possible damage to personnel or injury to persons and or aircraft and the tarmac itself. If we were to lose the tarmac, we'd have to put at least one hard stand out of service, or one stand out of service, and we'd be down to the other two.
Okay. Well, you will monitor this closely enough so that we'll be in a position early calendar year 2026 to make a determination.
Yes,
So that'll be upon us quickly.
yes.
Okay.
We can discuss it at our meeting in St. Martin with you.
I'm not in business there. I'm not doing any business there. Except funny business. Okay, where are we now? The tent update?
Yes, the question was asked because there was an improper date on the last tent update, and the extension is good through September 16th, 2026. No lease updates at this time.
Can I, excuse me?
Yes.
On that tent, did we have a discussion as to whether or not we eventually want to build something permanent as opposed to leasing a tent for the next X amount of years?
Yeah, we
Is that
want
in
to start
process?
discussing that infrastructure is really this year.
I mean, we'll have the tent for this coming summer, I assume.
Yes.
So we'd be looking at something that would be summer of '27.
Yes.
But to have something for summer of '27, we have to make the plans in by summer of '26.
Yeah, and it is actually in the CIP plan for the near future. It's a matter of actually pulling the trigger on what do we want, how do we want it, and how much it's gonna cost.
And that's being looked at and worked on so that we're in a position to pull the trigger on.
Yes, I have CIP meetings the first and second week of October with FAA, MassDOT, and the town of Barnstable.
And would that be an Anderson Krieger engineering firm? Would that be an architectural entity?
Airport Solutions Group
Airport Solutions.
at this time, but the engineering and planning contracts right now are out, waiting for the finalization of the request for proposals. So at this time, we cannot say with certainty who the planning and engineering firm will be after October 30th, or October 31st.
Okay, there's a lot of moving parts there between the
Yes.
Hardstains and the tent, so. I just don't want to be caught with not enough time because we haven't done our homework, that's all.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then we have completed appraisals on Mildred's, which is, came in at $1 million. Steamship Authority land that they lease from the airport, $1,545,000. And 606 Barnstable Road, that's the area behind Pond Avion, $830,000 was the appraisal. The HMI parking lease, it's been fluid and still waiting for a determination on whether that can be renewed for the license or it has to go to RFP. And I was speaking to procurement literally just a couple hours ago on the issue. The car rental company is just waiting for the RFP that's in process and no update on the JetBlue lease. And as I was just saying, on the contracts for engineering and planning, those RFPs should be complete and ready to go out to the public very soon. The NetJets fuel issue from this summer was resolved in late August. NetJets had an in-person audit of our fuel program and reported an excellent audit and well-run operation at the Cape Cod Gateway Airport. And fuel sales have normalized after that. The Gate F insurance status, Cape Bear is disputing responsibility for damaging the gate, and the town of Barnstable Insurance Department is working the issue. The PFAS update, they had installed some wells on the up gradient and down gradient of the building and also in the interior of the building. And the results have, preliminary results have indicated the PFAS levels below regulatory requirements. This indicates that the building is acting as a cap for the PFAS, which is good news. And noise, per the last commissioners meeting, IOU, finding out what the previous management recommendations were. The only recommendation I found regarding noise was, that I was able to find was from meeting minutes and airport folders that reference a proposal to explore options for potentially mitigating aircraft noise-related impacts and place an emphasis to identify options for reducing aircraft noise-related impacts to the southeast of the airport. The proposal had no community involvement in the plan. The proposal depended on consultants hired by the airport, and they would develop the plan. The community would be offered the opportunity to review the plan and provide comments, but would have no decision-making authority. There were no environmental considerations in the plan. This information was passed on to the Harkins via email on September 12, 2025, and the Harkins had attended our last commission meeting and made comments in public. And that's it for the updates.
Yeah, on the NetJets thing, have they communicated with their pilots that they can buy fuel here and that everything is okay?
Yes, they did literally immediately, and they were buying fuel within hours of the communication. Thank you.
Thank you for your work on that.
You're welcome.
Any other comments from any of the commissioners? Okay, there are no matters that were not reasonably anticipated by the chair, so I will take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion's been made, there's a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that is a vote, and our next meeting will be October 21st. October 21, 2025. Thanks, everybody, for good meeting.